All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. Let's do this thing. I got a big show today. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do multiple videos today because I have topics. I got topics, man. We're going to talk about Conor McGregor and some genius who called him out. I mean, yeah, I think pretty clear Conor is on the shelf until, Gaethje and Khabib shakes itself out. Then he'll fight the winner of that. That's what it's looking like. But this person calling him out, very smart on his part, and we'll talk about that. Let's start with who called out Conor McGregor right after I asked you to subscribe to the channel. So look, I talked about a couple hot topics, like stuff outside of MMA, like Northwest cities being on fire, things like that. And all of a sudden, magically, my views got cut in half. Like, I don't feel like, my subscriber base didn't go down. So I feel like maybe I'm being punished by the algorithm. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to have my new channel up sometime this week. I'll let you guys know. I'll talk about that stuff there. And just hopefully that doesn't impact this channel. So there we go. That's going to happen. But if you don't mind, please subscribe, ring the bell, and then most of all, share with your friends. Okay, that is what will help me grow this channel, and I will be eternally grateful. So speaking of that, let me give a real quick shout out to my boy, Will Page, who is responsible for the new logo, the new intro, all the new design stuff, new thumbnails, all that stuff, all the template. Will Page, my dude, did that for me on the house. Thank you so much, my dude. Thank you. And to everybody else who has asked me how they can help, I appreciate that more than anything. Honestly, how you can help, please share the content and then let's have a dialogue. My email's in the description. Like, I answer it every time. You guys can email me anytime. Anyway, all right, so let's talk about Conor getting called out, who called him out, why it's so smart. Michael Chandler knocked out Ben Henderson last night and then called out Conor McGregor. Now, that is pretty smart, okay? Why is that smart? Because he's going to get a Conor McGregor fight? Unlikely. But it's an interesting matchup. And you know why? Because he's coming over from Bellator, if he came over. And why does that make sense? Well, he fights in Bellator. He's a free agent. He's a free agent. That's why that's so smart. Because what did I talk about with Khamzat Chimaev, right? Why is Khamzat Chimaev just crushing it right now? He's crushing it because he knows he's got some shine. So how does he amplify that shine? He calls out guys that are bigger than him. Calls out Nate Diaz, calls out Masvidal, calls out Conor. That just illustrates guy understands the game. Completely understands it. And Michael Chandler understands the game as well. And so he's a free agent. He just had a big first round knockout win. How does he amplify that, right? Calls out Conor McGregor. And he says he's gonna make him see Jesus. He gives us a little like tagline to go along with the headline, right? Michael Chandler says he'll make Conor McGregor see Jesus. And I was curious what his thoughts on that were. And he's like, I would have given it a lot more credence had he said, I think it'll go very similar to the Khabib fight. If he would have said that, then I would have been like, okay, at least he's going into this with the right game plan, right? He's going to try to take Conor down, and obviously he's not Khabib. Like, no, I'm not saying that he had a chance to win that fight, but if he says I see it going like Khabib, then at least he's like, okay, yeah, I have a solid game plan there. I'm going to try to take Conor down. I'll grind him out, make him tired, whatever. But what he said was, I see it going very similar to the first Nate Diaz fight. Like I'll stay on him, I'll pressure him, I'll make him tired, and then I see him, I'll knock him out in the second round, make him see Jesus. And I'm like, hey dude, your last loss was a first round knockout loss. Do you know what that means for your odds of fighting Conor like Nate Diaz? Impossible. Not possible. Not possible. That is not going to work. If you can be knocked out in the first round, Conor's going to knock you out in the first round. There are certain things that are just inconvenient truths when you're analyzing MMA as a fighter who's going to square up with someone. Let me tell you what a couple of those are, okay? Number one, if you do not have a granite chin and you're going to stand with Conor, you're going night-night, period. No exceptions to the rule. None. None. Stand with Conor, don't have granite chin, going night-night. Every single fight of his entire career supports that statement, okay? Now, is Michael Chandler going to be the first person to shake up that metric? I don't think so. So he's not going to win. But I will say this, it's, again, really smart of him to call him out because now, it seems very clearly he's campaigning to come to UFC. He's been in Bellator for a long time. He's one of the biggest guys they have. I'm sure that he's anxious to test himself against the best guys. Plain and simple, dude, Bellator does not have the best guys. There's no room for interpretation there. And Michael Chandler has specifically said that himself. He's also an excellent announcer. So, spread your wings. Chael Sonnen has demonstrated that you can work for both companies. And Michael Chandler seems like a very smart guy, so he's behaving like a smart person. He would have been smarter if he said that he was going to fight him like Khabib, But, you know, everybody can't be perfect, right? So, yeah, I mean, but again, the reality is Conor is going to come off the shelf when Khabib and Gaethje work their thing out. And hopefully, in the event that, then, so a word on that. So Khabib's coach came out and said he talked to Khabib and he said that he's still really suffering, like really suffering. And I'll probably do another separate video on that. But let's say that Gaethje wins, right? I think it's going to be a tough sell to not give Khabib an immediate rematch in the event that Gaethje wins in a war. Like if it's a war, I think Khabib gets a rematch. Now, that said, I don't see a war as being super likely because a war would imply Gaethje landing a lot of punches or taking a lot of punishment and then coming back later, which is more possible, actually, than Khabib eating a bunch of Gaethje shots. I just don't see that, man. I just don't see it. Like, he's been rattled on his feet before, and obviously he has, you know, he's like never lost a round, really. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't see anybody, like, most people aren't Tony Ferguson, man. You can't eat shots from Gaethje like that. So the only way it could be a war is if Khabib takes him down, grinds him out, then Gaethje comes back and makes it dirty, and then he wins. But, you know, in that case, I think Khabib gets an immediate rematch. I think if he just, like, starches Khabib super fast, then it's Conor. Conor comes in, he fights Gaethje immediately. If Gaethje loses, then I think Conor it's either Conor or GSP. I mean, I know Khabib's saying he's not going to get a rematch. He's just being mean. That's his way to be mean, you know? Like, Conor's mean by, like, you know, saying all kinds of, like, really nasty things about, like, you know, your entire way of life, etc. Khabib's mean by being like, oh, what's the thing you want most in the world? You want another shot at daddy? You want another shot at daddy? I wish I could fight you again, Khabib. Just like that. That's how Khabib talks. He's like, oh, too bad. So, you know, I think Khabib's approach is better, but obviously Conor's my favorite fighter ever. Khabib is the one relationship where I think someone else has the mental edge on Conor. He's the only one. Conor is the apex predator with every other fighter or human being he interacts with, as far as I'm concerned. Subscribe, ring the bell, share the video. Let's do this thing.